Good morning, people. Welcome back to Almost Above Average. I am Christopher McIntyre, and today we're going to go back into the swamp, the Epstein files, but specifically, we're talking about what's in there about Donald Trump. Not any TikTok conspiracy threads or not whatever your uncle's posting on Instagram. We're talking about the actual new document dump, millions of pages, and why Trump's name keeps popping up like a bad ad you can't skip. So if you've been saying, it's all Clinton, bro, Trump barely even knew him, I need you for the next 15 minutes. Just hang on. Here's the deal. The government finally drops the massive batch of Epstein documents, 3 million pages. God knows how many photos and videos, and the press starts digging through it like it's Black Friday. And over again, the same headline comes out. Trump is in the files a lot. Not like, oh yeah, he shook his hand once at a party. We're talking about thousands of documents, tens of thousands of mentions of Trump, Melania, and Mar-a-Lago, and all of that. So when he gets on stage and does the whole, I barely knew the guy. We had a falling out. I haven't talked to him in 15 years. Never went to his island. Blah. I'm just sitting here like, bro, did you see the files? Your government released them. If you made it this far in the video, thank you so much. Now, if you would, please hit subscribe, hit like, and drop a comment. Thanks. You're everywhere. Let me break this down for the normal human beings. All right, inside the giant dump, you've basically got 3 buckets with Trump's name in them. The first one is the boring stuff. There's news clippings about Trump and Epstein that people saved, emails where he's just another celebrity name, or mentions of Mar-a-Lago as a place to recruit rich people or whatever. The second bucket is the creepy proximity stuff. Victim statements where they're like, yeah, Ghislaine introduced me to Trump at this event, or stuff where Trump is in the room or part of the social circle, part of the ecosystem. And then the third bucket is the major stuff, the radioactive stuff, the bombshells, if you will. The FBI tip sheets where people are calling in and saying that Trump did X, Y, Z to me when I was underage at an Epstein-connected spot. Now, the Justice Department is very clear. Those tips are not proven facts. Some of them are just probably bullshit. Some of them are clearly politically timed. That's cool. Say that once. I have no problem with that. But here's where you can't wiggle out of. These tips are in official FBI documents. Those documents are now part of the Epstein file dump. And the guy they're talking about is the same guy telling you he barely knew Epstein. Do you feel how those two things don't exactly sync up? 6, 7. So let's talk about the FBI tip list. This part is wild. The FBI literally compiled a list, like a spreadsheet, of sexual assault allegations people made about Trump in connection to Epstein. One of them is that Jane Doe who said she was raped at 13 by Trump. There are others with different details and different locations. But again, before you smash your phone, these are allegations. The DOJ itself calls some of them untrue and sensational. They're not putting a little gold star next to it like, yep, that definitely happened. They're not doing that. But what it does say is that there were enough of those allegations that the FBI had to start organizing them. Like, imagine you're innocent, like completely, and somehow there are so many people calling in tips that the FBI is like, we should probably start a separate list. At a minimum, that's not normal. And then the DOJ posts that list in the public Epstein archive, deletes it, pretends that it's gone, and then has to put it back up with this giant, don't take this as fact disclaimer. That's not the behavior of a system that's like, nothing to see here, folks. That's more like, oh shit, this looks really bad. How do we lawyer our way through this? And then there's the I barely knew him lie. Let's come back to Trump's favorite line. I barely knew him. If you ever had a truly casual acquaintance, somebody you kind of know from the gym or your kid's school, the bar, how many official documents is your name in with that person? I'm going to guess none. Maybe one, and that's a reach. Trump is in thousands of Epstein-related files. He is in an FBI tip sheet about sex crimes. There are victim memos where he's been introduced to girls by Ghislaine Maxwell, and plus all the photos and party stories we already knew about. That's not barely knew him, is it? That's a rich guy who was in the mix with another rich guy who turned out to be a predator, and there's a ton of smoke and you're hoping nobody ever reads it. If this exact same paperwork existed about Obama or Biden or Hillary Clinton, MAGA would not be calm. You would be saying, well, those are just some unproven tips. Let's move on, right? You'd probably be making merch. Let me talk directly to MAGA for a minute. I know some of you watch the show, some of you DM me, and you love to light me up in the comments, and I do appreciate that, genuinely. But here's the line that you've been sold. Epstein is about the Clintons, the globalists, the deep state. Our guy was just in the same zip code. So it's a witch hunt, a hoax, and fake news. But what it really is, it really looks more like this. Clinton has an ugly documented ties to Epstein. Trump also has ugly documented ties to Epstein. The files contain gross, unproven stuff about both of them. And your political brain has been trained to only see one of those men as guilty. I'm not asking you to suddenly trust the DOJ. I don't. I'm not asking you to believe every allegation. You shouldn't. I'm asking you to stop doing this thing where the files equal the gospel when they hurt a Democrat, or the files equal a hoax when they hurt Trump. Pick one standard and live with it. So where does that leave us? We've got a massive document dump that puts Trump's name in the Epstein universe way more than he wants to admit. An FBI tip sheet that reads like a horror anthology with his name on the cover. A Justice Department trying to both distance itself from the allegations and quietly bury them at the same time. And a political movement that can't admit their hero might be exactly as dirty as the people they hate. You can stay on the team if you want to. You can still be conservative, still support policies that I don't, whatever. But at least tell yourself the truth about the man you're following. If your whole identity is, I see through the lines, I'm not a sheep, you don't get to plug your ears the second the Epstein files come out and make your guy look bad. All right, done ranting for the day. And if that pissed you off, drop a comment. Great. And if it made you think, share it. Hit subscribe and send this to your favorite Epstein was just a Clinton thing cousin. And I'll see you on the very soon on the next episode of Almost Above Average. I am Chris McIntyre, and thanks for watching.